Rudbeckia. 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 Black-eyed Susan. It's interesting. It's a really mild flavor, but it makes me think of, maybe that walnuts or something. Maybe it's the drying, astringent or something. Not too bad. Interesante. So this is a really pretty vibrant flower. Not as bright as the milkweeds, but really nice. And just like those, we plant it for the pollinators. Butterflies and bees are real into it and all that. And whatever is good for the pollinators, that's good for everyone. So that's why we've got them. And I noticed a while ago I had a flower essence thing that had these in it, and so I looked up that was one of the last things I saw, but it was all about releasing negative emotions that are keeping us stuck in bad life patterns. And this whole thing about the blackness of the area you didn't like, and the power of the solar plexus. Very gold, it's very solar plexus. And so it may be useful for women. I guess there's no use for myself. I don't know if you've noticed, but I am all that is man. And so, emotions don't trap me and affect me. I don't feel things like pain. Whatever. Yeah, I got bunches of that. I got so much of that. And maybe that takes a bit more courage, right? I have the problems. I always say Johnsy. Johnsy is the bravest of all Vikings. Got courage to be vulnerable. Well done, Johnsy. Anywho, that's just side notes. What probably honestly too for me is one of the more effective things. There's all kinds of things that work on your body, but if you're stuck in stress and you're stuck in the emotional chaos that caused you to become sick, which is definitely what I did to myself. Isn't that usually the case, right? So, cheers. Yeah, it's a nice flower and easy to eat. It's got a decent taste, not a beautiful sweet flower taste, almost more nutty. That's interesting. And I'll just show you this flower a bit. I gotta deadhead some of these. Anyway, I got where these come from. But some of these I just gotta cut. I gotta cut those anyway. Take the deadheads and they'll keep flowering longer. These parts you don't want to use apparently because the seeds in them are toxic, but as far as I know, the rest of the plant is useful. There'd be a trick to focusing this. Yeah. The center, it's It's a lot of flowers. It's like a composite. It's in the Asteraceae family. And so everything Asteraceae is going to have that, like a sunflower Asteraceae. And these petals are curled back. And see how they have these little tips? It's kind of hard to see. But there's not a point on the petal. There's 5 points, I believe. These look 3-pointed. A lot of sunflower tribe have the 5-pointed petals, and that's one way you can tell that it is in the sunflower tribe. There's something like 20,000 or something. It's one of the bigger families, possibly the biggest. It's huge. A lot of Asteraceae, and the center, not the best light. The center is composed of a lot of different flowers, and if you break it open, there's a bunch of little seeds in there. Whatever, and they're at the base. Might call them inferior, ovary inferior, maybe. Don't quote me on that or anything ever. Look it up for yourself. Who is this dude? Just some dude saying stuff. Don't believe me. If you do, that's your own fault. Sorry about your luck. And so Asteraceae family, but they're not going to get huge like a sunflower. Let's grab some of these. That one's kind of wilty. And actually, I don't feel them as much on there. Built-in clippers. You kind of need clippers for these, but you got them built in. If you don't have a girlfriend, you just grow your own. But yeah, the hairs on these, maybe you can barely see that. They're a little bit hairy. Is where it gets its name, the Rudbeckia hirta. There's a few different types, but there's one, the Rudbeckia hirta, is hairier. So maybe this is not it. Interesting, because the hirta means hairy in Latin. Gotta learn Latin. It's like the metric system of languages. It's great. Well, let's go look at some of these. Let's go look at some flowers. Look at some dude talking about stuff. Let's look at flowers. These are real pretty. And these are in here, they're kind of growing amongst all the mint and the lamb's ears and the yarrows and this and that. But this one's got a bit of space at the base. They're not real competitive. Some mint while I'm at it. Go walk about. Well, we got another one in here. Not doing so hot. They like the summertime. They like to come up around the same time as the echinacea, are kind of similar. They look pretty similar. Only the leaves are fatter and darker, rounder on these Rudbeckias. Some of those, I need to deadhead those, and some of those top leaves need pulling. That one just straight died. I don't know what that's about. They're kind of growing in here, in amongst things, but they do like to have the open space. They like meadows and fields and to be beside roadways and that kind of thing. Yeah, we got some more in here with the echinaceas and stuff. They're kind of scattered all over. Although there's a lot less this year. Hey, where's your ball? Oh, that's your ball. Nice. Yeah, Rudbeckia. And I'll show you one of these flowers or the leaves. It's quite a bit rounder. I'll show you echinacea. Rudbeckia. echinacea. Very similar when they're popping up, and they're pretty similar. They're totally related. The Rudbeckia got those cones in the middle, and so they're considered a cone flower. Whoa! Gotta get that jump on camera. Curry. So yeah, they're related. They're cone flowers, and they have kind of a similar action in the root. A lot of the stuff going on that people are using it for is medicines. In the root, there's like a poultice you can make for snake bite, or use it for a rinse for like open wounds or earaches, this and that. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. Yeah, so a lot of it's to do with the root. I was a little unclear looking up what some of the different uses and parts of the plant use corresponding, or which one was which. Yeah, but I feel like pretty much every part except for the seeds. So I believe the stems were specifically anti-inflammatory. You put a puppy in your video, does that make it popular? Everyone love a puppy. Whatever. So yeah, a lot of it, there's I believe it was the stems were anti-inflammatory. It's kind of unclear. There's different uses for the leaves and stuff. I'm gonna look into it more, but I just felt like making this today. There I go, giving myself away. I'm a man, I have feelings. Deal with it. But so, yeah, sometimes it's used for drinks. I think a lot of the uses were the roots. I'll look into it some more. If you really want to know, I'll look into it and make another video. I just felt like making it today. But, yeah, what else did we get? They said it's antimicrobial. There's antioxidants. It's astringent, diuretic, and immune booster. Poultice for the snake bites, useful for earaches and infections, stuff like cold, flu, HIV, AIDS, E. coli, tuberculosis, I think. Stuff like parasites, especially when kids have worms. It's useful for that. But also it said whenever there's parasitic invasion or some such was the wording. So that's pretty cool. I got some of those things, some wounds and this and that, and parasitic invasion. That's great. And so some of the activity, there was some stuff, what was it, anthocyanins, this and that. There's some good antioxidants. People are looking into it more. We don't know that much about it because we don't really know that much about anything, except that we don't know nothing for sure. That much we know. That being said, polysaccharides, people are looking into it for the polysaccharide content in the root specifically, which is a big thing with things like reishi. That's a big part of why that is an immune booster, and this is considered an immune booster in kind of the same way that echinacea is. Pretty similar flower, pretty similar action, and again, that's in the roots that people are looking at. But as far as I know, most of this plant, except the seed, is useful for something, and maybe there's probably a use for the seed. You just haven't figured it out yet, or asked the ayahuasca. But it's mostly a North American. I think it might be on I think it's all the North American states and Canada. and was like used a lot by the natives, or up kind of by the Great Lakes and stuff, I believe. Ojibwa or some such. Some such. Where's that coming from? I don't know. It's coming out all the time. Here we go. And I think that pretty much covers it. They say ulcers, possibly helpful for ulcers and swelling. So I guess anti-inflammatory. Lots of anti-inflammatories in nature. And also a good yellow dye. It's really bright yellow. I don't do well in bright yellow. I didn't like seeing myself in yellow. I'm not a yellow guy. I'm a green man. For show. Lots of good stuff in this little green plant. Beautiful yellow flowers. If nothing else, pollinators are into it. And who doesn't like having beautiful flowers everywhere? Alright? Haters. So don't worry about that. Did it. Rudbeckia.